Welcome to Horror Cinema Obsession. Here, we dive deep into the chilling depths of horror cinema, from the critically acclaimed scares to the laughably ludicrous, and even the delightfully obscure. Now, let's join our hosts, Richard and Angelus, as they share their love, laughs, and sometimes sheer disbelief at the world of horror movies.
All right, we're back. What's up? Holla, holla, holla. I'm one of the hosts, Richard. How's my beautiful co-host, Angelus?
I need to come up with a good verb.
The horror fans.
What's up?
Peachy. I'm peachy, man.
You could just be, you're doing great.
Peachy.
Peachy. Okay. We got Vienna's review corner in here early. What's going on, girl?
You?
What? What's up?
You know what you did.
Oh my God.
How are you, Richard?
Oh, I'm doing really well. Things are great. It's Sunday, of all things. Friday was a little crazy and Saturday was crazy.
Yeah.
So we're recording on a Sunday night. We've got the Bears and Texans going on right now.
Ew.
Yeah. But we won't talk sports.
This is a horror podcast.
It is. No, but things are great. My Seahawks won, so I'm flying high, baby. Flying high. Caca! My bad. Sorry, I'm dull. I just like to poke fun of myself, okay? Anyways, my week's been good. We had a major milestone happen for myself. I thought you would have brought it up, but...
What's your milestone? We went to the fair.
Hashtag never forget. My birthday. Oh my God. Nobody ever even acknowledged it. Socials did. Thank you. But
Really? You lying sack of potatoes. I text you first thing in the morning.
You're so old.
you did. And I appreciate
too.
you and Vienna did.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And what else?
You made me a cake.
That's right. What kind of cake was it?
Choco flan.
Where'd we take you?
Anthony's by
Yeah.
the water, right?
Anthony on the Falls.
That was really good. We had really good salmon.
He didn't want to, but we forced him to.
I know. I was grumpy about the wait.
A whole 15 minutes.
I'm just saying I would have booked
We have
a reservation.
stuff going on. We didn't know what time the other stuff was getting done, so I was not able to book because
Oh.
I couldn't book and then cancel and book
I
and
know.
then cancel.
Anyways, thank you everybody that gave me the, shout out my birthday. That was awesome. Again, I don't like to joke darkly, but hashtag never forget Richard's birthday.
How was your cake, Richard?
I was 35 too. I turned 35. I'm older than shit.
His back is breaking. His knees are shaking and rumbling.
I know. I'm going senile. Anyways, the cake, it was chocolate flan. It was good.
That's it.
It was delicious. It was perfect. It was moist. You did
You were
phenomenal.
impressed.
I was. I was.
He was
I had 2 servings.
he was like, no, 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 no.
I did. I was like, no, 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 go.
Chocolate.
Choco. But no, it was good. Thank you. You're very sweet. Best girlfriend I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
Novia, te amo, means forever.
currently top of the list. That's what
You
I'm
are.
aiming for.
You are. You're not my side piece. You're my main
wow.
squeeze, girl.
So who's your side piece? I'm just kidding.
Huh?
Horror movies?
Yeah. I don't got much life outside of that. But no, yeah. So we went to the fair. That was fun, guys. How'd you guys feel about it?
God damn it.
It was fun.
You had fun? I had fun. I'm glad your dad got to come.
It was a fun, wholesome time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Vienna, how was it for you? It was this was a big one for you.
What do you mean big one?
You know?
You didn't go look at the farm animals with us.
Yeah, I was a
Yeah.
little hurt by that.
I went with Whitman.
Wheaties! Shout out, brother.
Richard, he, when we went back to the car, he goes, Whitman, you have a nickname that we call you. And I was like, oh no, here we go. And he was like, Wheaties. And he was like, what's the origin of that? And he's like, derived from wheat thins because you're tall and lanky. And he was like, I can see that. And he's like, because you're part of the family. And I was like, you've met this guy 2 times, Richard.
Heck yeah, man. I had to introduce him. You guys weren't doing it. He's part of the family now. We're going to Scarywood with him. It's that. Anyways, this was a big one because Vienna went on, I'm sorry, your second date
No,
A
this
big
is-
one though. It was a big date.
We're
You guys
almost
went
done
to the
1
fair.
year.
I know.
We've had multiple dates. What
But
do you
instead
mean?
of walking around the block like downtown, this one was an actual date. You guys went and rode rides. Something big happened. You guys, what'd you do?
I don't know.
They
what'd
shared
we
a
do?
meal.
Shared a meal and held hands for the first time. Holla! She's all embarrassed.
Richard
Oh.
knows how to put people on blast.
I didn't get to tell you.
I was excited. It
Oh,
was a
there's
big
more.
moment.
Friday at school, my friends were like, you were like, oh, they were like, you haven't hugged your boyfriend. They were like, and then my friend FaceTimed him 3 times. And then we saw him and they were like, Whitman, give Vion a hug. And I got put on blast and his friends were on top of the stairs waiting for him to go. And he was like looking at us and then looking back at them.
Was
and
it
I'd be
like a
"It's
quick
okay."
side hug?
No, he didn't hug because it was embarrassing.
Oh, shit. Can you walk us through the play-by-play, how the handheld went? Because when you told us this was awesome,
No, it wasn't.
it was. Let's hear it.
No.
It was a crowded place, right?
The anxiety kicked in.
Yep. No, you don't want to share? Okay, we don't have to share. It's very adorable, guys.
No, it's not.
Sorry, I just like putting you on blast. I like it. I like the
know.
kid. He's a good
Your
kid.
autism.
I know. He's a good kid, though.
How many
Anyways.
times have you talked to him?
Dude,
Twice?
we talk all the time. We shoot the shit all the time.
Twice.
All the time. But it's like we've known each other for years. It's insane. Anyways, let's get back to it. It was nice. You guys had a great week. I know it. I was there. But now, what movie are we covering this week? I was excited.
I know you picked it.
I know. It was one of my choices. I was excited, but that quickly turned. What movie, guys?
You'd say it. You picked it.
All right.
Like Gar said, say it too.
Leprechaun. So when I picked it, I thought I guess I had a nostalgia pick, and it did not hold up, guys. I'm sorry. So it's an hour and 31 minutes. It's a long hour and 31 minutes. Like Child's Play 2, that was an hour 40 minutes. That was quick. That was a quick movie. This one lasted forever. It took me a couple times of watching it to get
Every
through
time I
it.
talk to you, you're like, I'm watching Leprechaun.
Trying to, but I always like got bored or fell asleep. It was insane.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Maybe that Leprechaun worked its magic on you.
Yeah, something.
Put a spell on you.
So the movie wasn't the greatest, and I'm sure there's fans out there. I know.
It's fun. It was funny.
Yeah, it was fun. There's some funny moments. I think what made this movie horrible, though,
Whoa.
bad,
Whoa.
was it was supposed to be a kids movie.
This was supposed to be a kid's
Yes,
what?
it was supposed to be a kids movie from the research I did. And what happened was it was a kids movie all throughout. And then the director got a wild hair up his ass. And he ended up getting a little too violent in certain areas, like, the cop scene.
Yeah. This was nowhere does it say kids movie. This movie is creepy.
It turned in that way in the way it was cut. So there was a reason why, and we'll get into it, Lucky Charms pulled their sponsorship from it. They were going to be sponsored in it, and they pulled it. And then they added the line, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," into the movie. They baked it in. It was supposed to be a kid's movie.
I read there was something about Lucky Charms, but that it was just a rumor and it was not.
No,
True.
so from what I read, it was real. And there's other points in case of how this was a kid's movie when he had all these like little cars and the way he was singing and
No, man. I think that mask was not kid friendly.
hey, I'm just saying this was the research.
I'd say Gremlins is more kid friendly than
Yes.
Leprechaun
That is a kid's movie. That's a Christmas movie.
until they go haywire.
But Leprechaun, you got to understand, it started out as a kid's movie, but turned into this.
But even the mask was scary.
That's one of the reasons why it turned into the way it did, was
I
the
feel
mask.
Some like kids movies are traumatizing though. Like
Yeah.
you know,
No.
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
I love that.
That one
I
was
grew up
creepy,
on that.
but it was for kids.
Yeah. Even some Scooby-Doos were
Yeah.
scary to me. But no, this one quickly turned into the way it did, and it was not for kids. Just like, there's just scenes like the dad getting bit. It just got really bloody for
The
a kids
pogo
movie.
stick.
Yeah, the pogo kill. I think what happened was supervision was lost and the final cut was watched and they're like, oh, we can't distribute this as a children's movie.
Can you imagine if it did?
So many kids would be traumatized.
Traumatized, I know.
They would be scared of leprechauns instead of clowns.
I know.
Like St. Patrick's Day would be different, I feel like.
No, you're giving this movie way too much credit.
No, for like some kids, like every time they
Oh.
would just think back to their childhood.
That being said, this movie does have a cult following.
Yeah, there's like 8 of them, isn't there?
Yeah, it's crazy. So Leprechaun gained a cult following for several reasons, and I wrote down some of them. Its campy and bizarre premise. The film's concept of murderous, gold-obsessed leprechaun was unique and unusual, blending horror and comedy in a way that resonated with fans of quirky, offbeat horror. Warwick Davis as a performer, he did... I'll admit he did do a pretty good job as the leprechaun. His mix of humor and menace and over-the-top antics, he really did good. He put his heart and soul into it. A lot of people have been saying it's a B-movie charm, like low-budget effects, cheesy dialogue, and exaggerated performances gave the movie a distinct B-movie charm. Fans of So Bad It's Good films appreciated Leprechaun for its campiness and unintentional humor. And then it's nostalgia. So released in the early 90s, it has become one of the go-to rentals for horror fans during the VHS era. Over time, nostalgia for film over the top plot and 1990s vibe helped solidify its cult status. And then the franchise appeal. The success of the film led to several sequels, each more ridiculous than the last. Leprechaun in Space and Leprechaun in the Hood.
They take him to space too.
Which embraced the campiness and absurdity, growing the fan base over time. So just that's kind of, I can appreciate that. And I don't think it gets enough love for how much it's done. But at the same time, it's not my thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So this movie came out January 8th, 1993. The budget that I seen was approximately $1 million. And did you see how much it was grossed?
8.5 million approximately.
That's crazy. That's a pretty good
turnaround, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen other movies we've reviewed have had bigger returns.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, you made almost $8 million more than what you started with.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty good. No wonder they made sequels. What else do you have?
I have, leading up to the film's release, Trademark, who was the company, they engaged in an aggressive marketing campaign and they ended up partnering with the National Basketball Association.
What?
As well as the American Stock Exchange after they failed to secure deals with individual franchises like Domino's Pizza and Subway.
Wait, NBA sponsored this movie?
Yes, and the American Stock Exchange.
Invested in it?
They partnered with them because they couldn't get Domino's and Subway to partner with them.
Who in their right mind would do that?
It could be fun. You could get a leprechaun in your pizza or your sandwich in your kids' meals.
Ridiculous, dude.
Gold coin.
That's funny. The NBA. I wonder if there's any NBA commercials.
We should look. It was also Trademark's first film and originally supposed to be a PG-13. Trimark, yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a kids movie.
Yep.
Hilarious.
It was filmed, like you said, in 1991, but it not released until 1993.
Wow.
So they sat with it for a couple years.
I wonder why. So I found out My Lucky Charm, the intro song, and played throughout the movie was performed by the 69 Cats.
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
I was trying to find the song to download it, and believe it or not, it was hard to find. Like, you can find it on YouTube and stuff, but I was trying to, go to YouTube Music or Spotify. It didn't have it.
Who are the 69 Cats?
I don't know. They're like a rockabilly.
Oh.
They're weird.
They're weird, huh?
Yeah.
I remember watching this, or not this movie in specific. I remember watching a Leprechaun movie. I don't know which one it was. And I remember...
This is the only one I've seen. I might have seen clips of... Well, I take that back. I've seen Leprechaun in the Hood, and then I've seen bits and pieces of Leprechaun in Space.
I don't remember which one. I just remember it was creepy. And I was
Oh,
like,
it did
"Holy
freak you out.
smokes."
So, would you have seen this like when you were in Mexico, or was this one that you seen later in life, like when you got to the States?
I'm trying to remember, maybe early teens here. I saw something.
I mean, you still thought it was creepy?
It's still, dude, are you not freaked out by his mask?
No.
Like, I thought,
This movie took me out of it quite a bit.
no, like, if
We'll
you want
get
to
into
see
it.
a thing coming at you with that face.
Richard's too desensitized.
Ooh, me Lucky Charms does not scare
Yes.
me. That doesn't scare me.
It freaks me out. I don't know why. I
It
just
took me
don't
out of
like
it so bad. I was like, oh my God.
Like the way like he keeps attacking them and biting him and just fucking just going.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can
Wild.
see it. I just, as a kid, I remember it being more scary. But now I was just like, this is the dumbest movie besides It Follows.
I don't know. It was different because, like, on the other hand, like we just saw Chucky, and he's funny too, and he has his punchlines. But I don't think that I would have. I think because maybe he looks more like a doll resembling
That
people.
movie's
Where
intense.
where the leprechaun, just the mask that
Yeah.
they gave him, the hands, the gloves that they gave him or whatever with those nails.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
kind of similar. I know, like, it's a leprechaun and it's a doll. Kind of similar how they're attacking people. They can come off as innocent at first, but they're not.
Well, the leprechaun never looks innocent.
What do
Chucky
you-
can come
out of
off
those
at time
two-
as sweet as being like, "Hi, you want to be my friend?"
Hi, I'm Tommy.
But you can't get away from this face.
How? So maybe it's unfair to compare, but those two franchises, I'm only comparing because we just watched Child's Play 2 and reviewed it to this. And there's a huge drop off in my opinion. And we watched the sequel, Child's Play 2, and that held up really well compared to this fucking pile. Wouldn't you agree? I don't know.
I think it's his own thing. The leprechaun. It felt like a long watch. I think
We all
It
fell
was-
asleep the first time.
it wasn't him. It was the actors. Like Jennifer Aniston's
Well-
acting is the exact same thing as she was doing in Friends.
Which is funny. I thought the same thing.
I was like,
It's her whole
what?
career. But I don't think it's her fault either. The acting, I don't know if the acting was the problem. I think it was the writing. And this movie had the same director and writer. It wasn't a team of writers. And I
Oh.
think we're finding that's a pattern sometimes. It's
Her
not a good thing to have a
acting-
director and him do the writing. I think a lot of times you need that extra writer to like kind of help you get out of that tunnel vision. You know what I mean? You need assistance.
Yeah,
in my
but,
opinion.
I mean, I
some
feel
people
like
can pull it off.
her acting though was the same as she does as Rachel.
So you're saying she brought the movie down.
I really like the kid and Ozzy. They were fucking awesome, and their characters. The guy Nathan, he was just kind of there.
He's your run-of-the-mill jock,
Yeah,
alpha.
and then
What was it? Sigma?
Tori's just running around like, oh, I gotta prove myself that I'm brave and I'm not scared of
But I
the
don't think-
leprechaun.
I don't think that's her fault. I think it was the writing, and she was relatively young. I mean, she was like 20 when this movie came out.
I didn't even know that was her. Like at first.
Oh, really?
No.
Like it was distinct. Her character, don't get me wrong,
Her
she has no depth.
mannerisms, and I was like, wait, is this her every single time? And I
And
was
it
like,
is.
sitting there like, holy crap.
Yeah, Along Came Polly.
Yeah.
Other movies that she's in, she's the same kind of person.
Like more
It works. She's made a career doing it.
More recently, I mean, I feel like We're the Millers and like some other work that she's been in that I watched. She was in Blended Family, I think, with Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And she's
No,
changed.
that's Drew Barrymore. I thought.
Oh, Drew Barrymore. But there's one that she's with Adam Sandler. I can't remember the
Well,
movie. Just go with it.
Yeah, the news.
It changed a little bit.
The
but
news show that's on Apple, she's a little bit better, I think.
yeah, the more recent stuff that I've seen from her acting's a little different. But I feel like earlier Friends, Along Came Polly, all those movies, I was like, oh, it's like the same character.
It is. But I don't think she brought it down. I honestly think it's the writing. Jennifer Aniston brought Jennifer Aniston. She, in the 90s, took off. That was branding before her branding took off, but that was it. I don't think she was the issue.
Some scenes were
I think-
longer than they should have been.
Yes, I agree, but that's what I think the problem is things went too long, writing was a little bland. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely like the casting, but you don't, right?
I like the casting. I just realized that she's the same character.
Over and over.
Yeah.
Do we want to go in? We're trying to change up the structure. Do you want to go into fun facts, little known facts?
I
Or do we wanna
incorporated
save
mine
that?
as part of the scene by scene.
Okay, that's
I do have for fun facts that George Lucas gets special thanks credits because at the time Warwick was under
yeah,
contract
He was an Ewok.
with Lucas and he allowed him to go out and venture into the Leprechaun. Also, Davis started to regret making the film because Aniston, I guess she's been quoted as denying and just kind of saying she wasn't in the movie and just kind of putting it down. So for Warwick, it was one of his favorite movies, and she's just kind of tries to forget about it, that it ever happened, and he's just like, dude.
But wouldn't you? If I'm Jennifer Aniston, I had a meteoric rise with Friends. I'm top of the world, top of the game, right?
Yeah.
I am not owning fucking Leprechaun. Just like our boy Titanic. Leo, he ain't owning Critters 3, man. You do these early movies, you forget them, man. You wipe your fucking feet and hands from them, you know? You're done. You're done with it. So I don't blame her whatsoever. I get him because this is his main, this is him. This is his movie.
That's his entire franchise.
He's the leading man in this movie, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I get that. And total respect, he did a great job.
He did.
But at the same time, come on, dude. Don't be discouraged. It is what it is. You have two eyes. I have two eyes. You know what this movie is. Come on, man. That being said, do we want to go through the cast?
Yeah.
Yeah. To start off, we've already been talking about him, Warwick Davis, the Leprechaun.
Warwick Davis, I have he performed most of his stunts, as it was a little bit challenging to find doubles in his size.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in the movie, he did suffer from a bit of a lung infection. And so there were some scenes, and then after I read this, it made sense because there were some scenes where he looked different. So
like bigger.
One of the doubles did film some of the scenes, and that's why in some of the scenes he looks taller.
Yeah, like when he's circling Nathan when he's got the bear trap on. There's a
bear trap, and then also the pogo jumping, and then when he bit the dad in the log, that was the double.
Ah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he was born February 3rd, 1970. He's an English actor, best known in his roles in fantasy and science fiction films. He began his acting career at the age of 11 and has become a beloved figure, especially for fans of genre films. The notable films that I have for him are, oh man, we got some great ones. Return of the Jedi, 1983. He played Wicket, the Ewok. That was his first major role. He was in Willow in 1988. He played Willow Ufgood. He was in the Harry Potter series, 2001 to 2011. Played Professor Flitwick. And Griffhook became a fan favorite in the franchise. He also did Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in 2005, Paranoid Android, Marvin the Paranoid Android, and then the Leprechaun series from 1993 to 2003.
That's a long run.
Yeah, he did 7 of the films. And then Star Wars, The Force Awakens, and Rogue One. He made appearances in both films.
Nice.
That's crazy.
One notable mention is Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, the second one.
Oh, shit.
He was in there too. Yeah, he was Lickspittle.
Dang. Okay, so he's still acting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Now, next, we're talking about our girl, Jennifer Aniston. Ooh-wee.
Ooh-wee. This was her first film role.
Dang, being in the motion pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
She's been acting all her life, essentially. I mean, everybody knows her.
Well, I know she has 2 famous parents, or well-to-do parents. I didn't write the notes.
Oh,
but that's where she came
look
from.
Up her parents. Everybody knows her from Friends. Bruce Almighty, Along Came Polly. Rumor has it.
Marley and Me.
The Breakup. Bounty Hunter, Just Go With It. Horrible Bosses. We're the Millers. Where I kind of started seeing like her acting get not be the same character as before.
With horrible bosses were the Millers.
Cake. She was really good in Cake. Office Christmas Party, Dumpling, and then more recently the murder mystery movies.
Yeah, but
On
she
Netflix.
goes back to form.
Yeah.
Vienna, how do you feel about Jennifer Aniston? Do you love, hate, or meh?
Her acting's pretty good, I think.
You like her? You're entertained by her?
Yeah.
Now, do you guys like Friends? Or is that too white? I'm just curious.
The jokes don't land with me, honestly.
Really?
They're kind of dull.
Well, they're a little outdated, and it's a sitcom, so it's going to be cheesy.
Mhm.
For me, my childhood, throughout my teens, I liked Friends.
I walked into it. Like, I've recently, as of the last 2 years, I tried watching it for the first time. Like,
Oh, you couldn't do it?
I mean, I watched episodes here and there, so I knew who she was, and I know what the show is and the characters.
Hey, man, how could you go wrong with Joey? How you doing?
And
your
recently, I
favorite?
was like, oh, like,
Oh,
I
Joey.
want to see what the big hype is, and it's on HBO, so I was like, I'll watch it. And I think we got through, like, I don't know, a quarter of the first season, and I was just like,
It gets better, I think. Yeah, there's some funny things.
yeah. Maybe it's just not my humor.
Wasn't your cup of tea, huh?
Uh-uh.
Okay, I was just curious. Yeah, so she plays that. She's not your favorite actor in this movie.
I just couldn't, like, it didn't give me, like, a horror actress. It was very Rachel character.
Yeah, very PG. Now we move to Ken Olant, the other favorite actor of yours in this movie. He plays Nathan. So this guy's still acting, or I've seen it. I don't know what his last thing was, but he's a little older too. He was 20 years older than,
Oh, really?
yeah, or I guess 10 years older than Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, just 10.
Yeah. Ken, he's an American actor, producer, is primarily known for his work in TV and low-budget films throughout the 80s and 90s. Notable filmography, so maybe he's not acting much anymore. I could have swore he was. At least early 2000s he did. But notable films that I have is Summer School in 87, Riptide. This looks like it was a TV show, 1984 to 1986. He had Leprechaun, Super Force, another TV show, 90 to 91. And then April Fool's Day, 1986, which we're going to have to cover one of these days.
April Fool's Day?
Yeah. So what made you not like him?
I don't know. He has a face, like, I thought that I would have seen him. I was expecting to see a lot more credits for him.
It's that jawline. Because let's
And-
face it, in the early 90s, 80s, he's
That
a
was
handsome looking
stereotypical
dude, though.
Yeah.
He was a good looking guy back then.
Yeah. I was surprised. I was like, whoa, where did this guy go? Because I didn't find a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, he did okay, but he just did your stereotypical role.
Alpha, Sigma
Yeah.
kind of guy.
I'll be there. I'll help you guys.
I like the word Sigma now. I don't know.
No.
So the next guy we play, and I don't really like this character. I think they approached this way wrong. But Mark Holton, he plays Ozzy. He's slow. He's developmentally challenged, but they didn't do a very good job at it. The way the story, the way the writing went was crazy. They're like, and we'll cover it, but like, we can get you a procedure to make you smarter. Like,
It was a stereotypical.
yeah, and
Here's
like
this
people
character.
make fun of me.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I didn't like it. You could have approached it way differently, even in the early 90s. But anyways, Mark Holton, so he's been known, often plays quirky and offbeat characters. So most notably for me, that I know him from is Pee-wee's Big Adventure, 1985. He played Francis Buxton, the film's comedic antagonist. So I remember him in that. I remember him in Teen Wolf. He played the chubby, lovable sidekick in the classic 80s comedy. Have you ever seen Teen Wolf? Michael J. Fox?
Yeah.
That's a fun one. It's not necessarily horror, but it's horror adjacent. We could probably cover it on this. It's a fun one.
We'll cover Coraline.
Yeah.
Yippee.
He also, 2003, I didn't know, he went dark. He played Gacy, John Wayne Gacy.
I saw that.
Which kind of makes sense. I could see that. I wonder if it's any good. Have you seen that?
Uh-uh.
We'll have to watch that. And then the last one I have is A League of Their Own. So that's a pretty big movie. That's Tom Hanks. Madonna was in it. He played an Empire, a smaller role and it's a beloved sports film.
He was also in Leprechaun Returns of 2018 as Ozzy again. And
Oh
more
my God.
recently as Stream in Oswald, the Oswald show that's coming out that just is coming out or is out in 2024.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Going to the Batman storylines.
Oh, okay. And then it looks like another guy, Robert Gorman, Alex Murphy. So he plays the kid.
Mm-hmm.
He was born, he's a Virgo, September 20th, 1980. Robert Gorman is a former child actor known for his work in the early 90s, which we've probably seen him all over the place. I know I have growing up. He had a successful stint in family films and TV shows before stepping away from acting as he got older. So some of the films that I have on here are Leprechaun, Forever Young. I remember that one. I believe Mel Gibson's in that. And then one of my favorite movies growing up, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That was a really good one. You ever seen that?
No.
I have to watch that. How'd you feel about him? You liked him, didn't you?
I did. He was spunky.
Yeah.
Had a lot of punchlines.
Yeah. And he played the sidekick to Ozzy. Sidekick. And then we have Shane Duffin as Dan O'Grady. He's pretty good. I don't think he did a whole lot. He did Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Departed. I remember him in that. And then I guess he was in Titanic, but I don't remember that.
I don't remember him either, but I was like, woohoo, Titanic.
Yeah.
The Departed, Beowulf, he was in there too.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
And then John Volstad. Volstad is an American actor with a mix of film and television roles. What role did he play?
He was JD, the dad.
Oh, so
Corey's
he's
dad.
barely in it.
Barely in it.
He had a face that looked familiar, and the only thing that I know I've seen that I would even recognize him in, which I don't, is Stripes.
Okay, he was also in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen.
Was he? What was he?
He was Pundit. He played Pundit, and then he was in Murder-in-Law in 2019.
I don't know.
And he was in a TV show called Ryan's Hope.
Oh, okay. So that might be where I recognize him.
He
Ryan's
was
Hope.
Frank from 85 to 89.
Ah, okay. Do you have any more on the cast?
No, that's all I had.
Yeah, so that rounded out the cast. Now, do we want to cover the director and writer?
Director/writer Mark Jones. We share the same birthday.
Oh,
January.
shit. I have it written down. I didn't even recognize that. That's crazy.
Damn. Wow. I'm
Wow.
the girlfriend at the top of the list. You
It's,
didn't remember.
What's your birthday? I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
Richard,
Cabrón.
what day is it?
January 17th, 1989.
Wow.
American screenwriter, film director, television director, film producer, and television producer. He started the Leprechaun franchise and also co-wrote Rumpelstiltskin.
Rumpelstiltskin?
Yep, he was.
I never seen that movie. Have you? I know the story, obviously.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. 1995.
Yeah, I have that he was inspired by Lucky Charms commercials to make the character of the Leprechaun. And he just gave it a twist that was turning the Leprechaun into the antagonist of the movie. I said, and then I have here that my research says slightly different than yours. This is that he meant for the movie to be horror, but became comedic and then developed the character before filming began. He also got inspiration from Critters, which I can see that in there.
Mm-hmm. So his approach, yes, was horror, but the movie studio wanted a kids movie.
Oh, he was like, "Screw you guys! I have a better idea."
They hired the wrong guy and did not prove it. It was one of those cases where, like, oh, it's only $1 million, so nobody was watching.
He was like, he just ran wild with it. It worked though. There's a franchise.
I mean, had it been a kids show, maybe they rattled off 2, but I don't see it being all 8.
Clearly, someone kept giving him funding.
Fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah. So turned comedic, and then after some decisions, they turned it into a horror comedy. And then some scenes had to be reshot after the producers insisted to, at that point they were so far gone to just make the movie a little bit gorier for some of the older audiences.
So that's what happened.
So they were like, "Oh, it's not scary enough, so now we really gotta turn the ship."
they were fucked. They're like, "Fuck, okay, just lean in, all gore," which they didn't do enough.
Yeah,
they could have done more.
He was only involved with Leprechaun 1 and 2, I saw.
Yeah, so he got the franchise started, and then he did Rumpelstiltskin, which the plot is a dark fantasy horror film. A woman unwittingly resurrects the evil Rumpelstiltskin, who then goes on a killing spree to collect a baby promised to him.
Damn, baby Chancho.
I'm like, baby Chancho! He doesn't have to worry about it. And then he did Triloquist in 2008.
And then Quiet Kill I have in 2004. He was a director for that.
Yeah, and Scorned.
Dude, Triloquist, he was a director, writer, producer, and actor.
So that's going to tell me that I don't want to watch this. But I'm not really a dark horror comedy kind of guy. For me, horror and comedy, yes, you can get it. Like Shaun of the Dead's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Leprechaun, that's not my MO. It's someone's, but it's not mine. So this guy does not speak to my soul.
For TV, he was involved in What's New, Mr. Magoo, the all-new Popeye's House, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, Werewolf,
I love that one.
Mega Man, and Nature.
Alvin and the Chipmunks, 1983,
Oh, really?
baby. Yeah. Jones wrote for the animated series centered around the famous singing chipmunks, showing his early work in family-friendly entertainment. You should have stuck with it, bud. He also did the cartoon, I think, Mr. T.
Oh, okay.
And then he directed the A-Team? That's crazy. Wrote several episodes for the action-adventure series about a group of ex-special forces. I used to love the A-Team.
I don't know what that is.
Really? You ever seen the movie, the remake they did?
Mm-mm. That's an 83, 87 thing.
No, but like the newest movie had Bradley Cooper in it. And it had the dude from The Conjuring. Jessica Biel in it.
You're making me watch all horror stuff. Was this horror? No, then no. He's like, what?
Wow.
Whoa, wowzers.
Okay.
Was it action?
Yeah.
Okay, then no.
Okay.
I'm not a big, I don't go...
It had Rampage Jackson in it. Rampage?
No.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, that's the writer-director. Do you have anything else on this?
No, I have the makeup artist was Gabe Bartalos. I guess doing makeup for Davis took approximately 3 hours. And taking it off, that was a 40-minute process.
Holy shit. Really?
Yeah. I had to sit there every time.
That would suck.
Yeah.
Man, wow. Well, cool. What was his name? Because he does deserve a shout out.
Gabe Bartalos.
Gabe?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Huh. I have to look up, see what else he's done. Or was it just the Leprechaun?
I didn't look into all of his credits. I just saw mention of him here. I guess him and Davis would just have bizarre conversations to kill time because they had to sit there together for so long.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all right. Should we take a quick break?
Let's do it.
All right. We will be right back. Is your yard starting to look like a bad episode of The Curse of Oak Island? Mysterious holes, plants on life support, and clovers multiplying like rabbits?
Yeah, because who doesn't love tripping over a random dirt mound on your way to grill some burgers? Nothing says relaxation like a treasure hunt in your own backyard.
If your lawn looks like someone's been digging for buried treasure, it's time to call the pros at Green Thumb Lawn Care.
Are we sure it's not just your neighbor Steve with his metal detector?
Steve couldn't find gold if it hit him in the face. This is different. We're talking about uninvited guests. Ever notice your lawn looks fine one day and the next it's covered in clovers? Like they're multiplying faster than William Shatner at a Star Trek convention.
Or find your patio chair buried like someone's hiding? Well, something they don't want you to find.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Steve, but it's not him this time.
Green Thumb Lawn Care deals with the unique lawn problems, whether it's gophers, gremlins, or I don't know, maybe a leprechaun who thinks your backyard is his new hideout.
Because when a tiny green man starts using your lawn like a personal ATM, you need more than just a rake and some weed killer.
And for an extra fee, they'll throw in a free clover patch. You know, just in case you want to get on the leprechaun's good side. Who knows? Maybe you'll get lucky.
Yeah, or maybe you'll just have a lawn full of clovers and no gold. Ask us how we know. Green Thumb Lawn Care, keeping your lawn green, neat, and free from magical mischief.
And no, we still don't do the neighbors. Sorry, Steve.
All right, we are back. What's going on? Was that a nice break?
It was amazing.
Yeah, we actually took our time. We were kind of BSing. Very casual.
Very cash. Very demure. Very cutesy.
Oh.
Man.
Vienna gets so embarrassed. No.
Let's get into our plots.
Okay.
Do you want to go first? And Vienna, we're going to do something new. You're going to judge them, okay? I want fair, but do your best.
Do your best. So listen, open your ears.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, they're good.
Now imagine in a world if you must. Ready? Okay. Step over the rainbow into the story of a crazy little maniac who loves gold so much he traded his soul for it. When a bag of gold coins lands in the wrong hands, this leprechaun who suffers from a mild case of ADHD, OCD, and whose only kryptonite is shoes develops tunnel vision and a nasty biting habit and will stop at nothing to get me coins back. The end.
Okay. All right, cool. How did you feel about that one?
I've heard that one in the car. It was
okay?
good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I like it. It
I
was good,
liked it.
straight to the point.
Yeah.
Me coins. So here's mine. While Leprechaun was primarily the work of Mark Jones, as both the writer and director, the film itself underwent. Oh, dang.
I was like,
Wait,
oh,
what?
okay.
Wait.
That was my notes. Sorry, wrong. Whoa, wrong page.
Breaking the mics.
You got it? No. We labeled our notes.
Okay, I know. Here we go. I get my shit together here. All right. I started with, all right,
Breathing it
horror.
out.
All right, horror freaks. Let's talk Leprechaun, where a little guy with a big temper proves that size definitely doesn't matter when you're pissed about missing gold. The movie kicks off with a dude who thinks bringing home Irish gold is a good idea, along with Leprechaun, who's basically the world's smallest hitman. Fast forward, and we got Jennifer Aniston in her pre-Friends days, moving into a farmhouse with Daddy Dearest. Sounds peaceful, right? Well, not when there's a pint-sized psycho locked in the basement who's got a thing for murder. And maybe foot fetishes. I don't know, given how much he loves biting ankles. Things go off the rails fast as this little green bastard sets out to reclaim his gold. And let's just say he's got a creative approach to payback. There's blood, bizarre kills, and more awkward chases than you'd see at a bad family reunion. So grab your 4-leaf clover because this one, Nightmares, that's small in size but big on messed up fun.
Ooh, ooh. That one was pretty good. I thought you meant like fast forward, like the leprechaun turned into Jennifer Aniston, and I was like, what the heck?
So which one worked?
Both of them. They're both good in their own ways. From your perspective of the movie. The plot. See, I told you it was just gonna be like, yeah, they're both good.
Okay.
I'm confused. I was confused as to the plot. I was like, we've never brought the directors into the plot.
I went off the rails, my bad.
Richard was doing the extra.
I know. Okay, cool. So I feel like I did a really good job, but it was more like, it wasn't like plots we're used to. I just was going off the rails. I'll be honest with you, my imagination ran wild on this one. Like, it was hard to focus.
Oh.
So
Ooh la
I like
la.
my part. I call him a little green bastard.
He's a little green a-hole.
He's like, I'm a leprechaun. Look at my buckles. Look at the buckle on my hat. It's like, what the fuck?
Look at me shoes. Does it smell like gold? It looks like gold.
Um,
And tastes like a Richard.
oh my gosh. All right.
Damn it.
Sorry.
It was not that
You're
funny.
entertaining yourself.
It was not that funny.
We're
It
dull.
was funny.
We're dull, okay? And slightly awkward, okay?
We're socially awkward. Jeez, damn it.
We're dull and awkward, okay?
We had this conversation last night.
Oh, God. I appreciate it. I love it. All right, should we dive into the movie now?
Let's go.
Okay, so before we get into the opening scene, I'm going to put this out here. These guys are freaking out over the gold.
Who?
Mathematically, though, with some of the assessments, it was only $50,000. Dano fucking Grady is all excited in the opening of this movie and thinking they're going to have mansions and they're living the high life. If it's $50,000, though, you're going to have a good weekend.
But the appraiser said if it's
It could be
like
priceless.
magical.
Well, they're not
then yeah.
you. They're not wasting it on instruments.
It's $50,000. Even in 1993, that ain't going to get you far. But again, that's just Ozzy and Alex down the road, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I just wanted to set that. They're like, there's like $50,000. We can get your brain fixed.
Oh my god.
That's what they said.
That's messed up.
It is.
Okay. Do you want to set the tone for the opening scene?
Leprechaun. It opens up into a dungeon. And you see the leprechaun downstairs, and he's just like so happy. He's sitting there with
He goes down the stairs. What's
pot
he
of
saying?
gold. He's like, whoa. He said, try as they will and try as they might. Who steals me gold want to live through the night.
Yeah, and then he has this weird fetish. He's like rubbing the coins on his nipples. It's weird.
What the heck?
I got the director's cut. It was weird.
He's like, ha 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 ha, and does a chuckle.
Oh, if you guys do want to watch this, it's on Peacock. So watch it and enjoy it. Watch it with us. We never say that enough. I wonder if you guys are. I want some feedback. Do you guys actually watch, like the listeners of this podcast, do you actually watch the movies?
Si, senor.
Yeah, let us know on the socials at Horse Cinema Obsession.
You can say CC or no.
CC, no.
Leprechaun, CC.
But yeah, so we have Dan O'Grady. He's rolling up after that, right? In a limousine and a white tux or a white business suit.
Yeah, he walks out. He's drinking his little bit of liquor, and his wife is outside.
He's boozing it up hard. He's happy.
Yeah, she's outside, and she's like, bro, where'd you get the car from? He's like, I thought you were, like, burying your mom or whatever. And he has, like, a driver. The driver's unloading bags for him. And he's like, oh, tomorrow we're going shopping. We're going to buy mansions and castles and fucking more limos and convertibles. And she's like, where do we get the money from that? And he's like, here you go. Pulls out an urn. And she's mortified.
Like, whoa, your mom's ashes.
Yeah.
As he's breaking the urn. He's like, no, I hid it inside.
Yeah, and
because he was like, hey, did my package come? And she's like, yeah, it's right where it was delivered. I didn't bring it inside.
Yeah, he opens it. Yeah, and it's an urn, and she's mortified. And he breaks it open, and he pulls out a little bag full of coins. And he's like, we're going to be rich. And she's like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? And he's like, no, like I caught a leprechaun and I made him tell me where he's money. Like, how did he do that? All this, like throughout the movie, the leprechaun fights. But he got him to speak.
Dan O'Grady had a 4-leaf clover.
To capture it. And the lady's like, whatever, dude, you're like a little crazy, a little boosted up, but whatever. So they go inside and she's like, do you want some tea? He's like, yeah, I want some tea.
He's like, I'll be right back, though. I got to go do something. And he's going to hide the coins.
Yeah, and then she starts hearing noises inside the house. She hears like a kid whimpering, and she thinks it's him and calls out to Dan and nothing. And then you hear the Mary Had a Little Lamb song being sung over and over.
Yeah, and she walks in the living room. It's coming from the suitcase.
Yeah, she goes in there and she's like, what the hell? Thinking that he freaking brought a little kid in a suitcase.
Well, I don't think she knows what's going on. She's a little freaked out because, yeah, maybe she thinks there's a kid in there.
Yeah, because it's at one point he says, help. He's like, I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. And she's like, what the hell?
Let me out. Let me out.
And then he also mumbles that he wants his gold. And she opens the suitcase And he comes out and
well, it's red eyes at first.
that you see.
Yeah, and then it lifts up and then he rolls out. And what's he say to her?
He says that he wants his gold.
Yeah, where's me gold?
And she gets
Arr.
scared, as I would have been, and she freaking rolls down she falls downstairs into the basement, and you just see her laying there at the bottom of the basement.
Yeah, she takes a tumble. I love this because you can see the stuntman or stunt woman in the scene. It's hilarious.
Fallen.
Like the face. Yeah, it's a young lady, and then all of a sudden it pans back to the body, and it's the old lady laying there.
And then
he's like, oopsie daisy, oopsie poopsie.
And then O'Grady comes back inside looking for her. And he's like, oh, yeah, we're good. He's like, I hit the gold.
Oh, because the voice, she's like, Dan, where'd you hide it? And he's like, huh? And then all of a sudden, the leprechaun is walking out
there
with tea. And he's using his wife's voice, right?
Mm-hmm. And she's like, what did you do to my wife? And he's like, well, she didn't watch her steps. And O'Grady pulls out a 4-leaf clover and threatens a leprechaun with a gun. And the leprechaun runs away. And this is where I was confused because I was like, I thought leprechauns liked 4-leaf clovers, but maybe not. So the leprechaun runs away.
So this has no, like, the folklore of leprechauns has no relation to this movie. Like, there is nothing historically accurate about this.
Yeah, no. So Grady goes to look at his wife's body, and the leprechaun sounds like her still, and you can hear it sounds like her voice that's talking, and so Grady's a little tripped out by it, and it's his wife's voice saying, to give the leprechaun back his gold. And O'Grady's trying to process, like, his wife is at the bottom. She looks dead. There's a crazy little leprechaun running around. And O'Grady shoots him at one point. And he's like, dude, like, bullets are not doing anything to me. And he's like, I'm just going to keep coming back.
Yeah, but he's like, I'll keep coming for me gold. So it does do something to him.
So he shoots him with the 4-leaf clover. Is that what happened?
No, he doesn't shoot him with the 4-leaf clover. He shoots him, and then he picks him up and dumps him into this huge crate that's in their basement for some reason. And he starts nailing it, and he puts a 4-leaf clover on top of it. Because if the leprechaun in this movie, the rules are if the leprechaun is touched by that, they automatically die.
By the 4-leaf clover?
Yeah, it could kill him. So it limits his power. It's pretty much the leprechaun's kryptonite. So it's on top of the crate, and Dan O'Grady, he's starting to get exhausted. You can tell something's happening because he's like starting to sweat. And the leprechaun's making a comment. He's like, hey, you better...
He's like, don't strain yourself. You can get a heart attack or something like that.
Yeah, and Dan O'Grady's struggling to nail it in. He ends up struggling to get the gas tank, and he starts dumping the gasoline on top of the crate. And he's like, ooh, you're going to burn me alive?
Yeah, and then this is where the leprechaun, he's like, dude, he's like, I traded my soul for this, for the gold.
No, I'm going to take your
He's
life.
like, and you traded your life. And he's like, if you just let me go, I will go away forever. Just give me my gold. And O'Grady, he just keeps on struggling. He lights the match to set the box on fire, and the match goes off.
Right.
And he collapses. And that's all we see.
That's all she wrote. Yeah. So and now that scene closes, and all of a sudden music comes in. My Lucky Charm by the 69 Cats. Bring me 4-leaf clover.
We forward 10 years.
Yeah. Oh, it is 10 years. So that awesome song comes in, and then we have Tori Redding and her dad, Jennifer Aniston and her dad, driving in this Jeep going through the mountains of North Dakota, but she makes the comments that's New Mexico, which I'm convinced it's New Mexico, and I'm going to give you proof on this.
And he says it's North Dakota for the summer, doesn't he?
He's like, we're not it, because he's like, technically it's North Dakota we're at, and she's like, I don't care, it's not LA.
Yeah, and I think this is where she gave me Friends vibe, because in Friends she also played that rich, like she comes from a rich family.
Did she come from a rich family?
And Friends, yeah, because this is like Friends.
Did she?
Yeah, in Friends she's like for the first time figuring out life on her own without her rich family.
Yeah.
And in here she's like complaining about LA, something about another house, and it's not a mansion, and the pools and the hot tubs, and she has a fucking phone, a cell phone at the time. So that tells you that they have money.
Which I feel like a little bit in the movie, she's like a little stuck up just because some of the comments she says.
So they're heading. She's not happy about it. So this house, was this a house that obviously he said he got a killer deal on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is this a house he's gonna flip and they're just renovating it for the summer and he's gonna sell it? Is that the vibe we're getting, or is he gonna live there?
It sounds. I thought they were gonna live there, but they were gonna flip it first.
I didn't know if it was permanent because she's like, I'm just gonna stay at the hotel. So I think she was staying for the summer, and then she lives with her mom. Is where my mind was going.
Okay, they pull up to the house, and she's like, "Dude, it's old and beat up," and she's like, "It's not real, right?" She thinks that she wants it to be a joke. She doesn't want it to be the house.
It's the neighbor's shitty house. You're just trying to play a joke on me.
And he's like, no. Oh, and this is where she's like, there's no swimming pool. There's no cable. No mall. Like, this place sucks.
Yeah. He's like, well, try to give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up going inside. It doesn't get any better.
It looks gross.
It's 10 years old. It's getting decrepit, decayed, abandoned.
Full of spider webs.
What's the reason they went downstairs?
Dust. To clean it up?
Okay, because they go downstairs, and the first thing you see is a tarantula. So if they're in North Dakota, this is what makes me convinced that they're actually in New Mexico, because North Dakota, tarantulas are not native to North Dakota, as the climate is generally too cold for them to survive in the wild. Tarantulas typically thrive in warmer, more arid environments like deserts or tropical regions in the U.S. You'll mostly find wild tarantulas in southern states like Texas, Arizona, California, and New Mexico. That said, it's unlikely to find tarantulas naturally in North Dakota unless they're escaped pets who were brought in unintentionally. So, unless someone was living there and had a pet tarantula...
And it escaped.
Yes. And that did not happen because they're in the middle of nowhere and this house has been abandoned for 10 years.
Maybe it's the leprechauns.
I'm just saying.
Another thing I saw, there's an the 4-leaf clover that O'Grady left. It looks like old and dried up.
Yeah. Well, it's 10 years old.
Yeah, but JD's like, we're just going to clean it up. We're going to paint it a little bit. It's going to be, top notch. And she's like, dude, I'm going to get her a hotel. I'll stay there.
He's like,
and then
fine.
we can just see each other. And then she spots another huge spider and she's like, nope, I'm done. And she walks out and she's on the phone trying to make a reservation.
And then she bumps into Kevin, right?
Nathan. Mm-hmm.
And he had paint thinner in his hand. And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. And she tries to give him $10 or $20. And then he's like, whoa, that doesn't cover it. And she's like, oh, fine. Here's another $20. So $40. He's like, well, this should cover it. Only if you give me an apology.
Yeah.
And she still doesn't apologize to him.
Yeah, no, she doesn't have time. She's like, I need to get away from here. And then he starts poking fun at her because she's scared of spiders and it's dirty. And he's like, you're just being a girly girl. And she gets upset by this. And she's like, I am not like a stereotypical girly girl. I'm not scared of all these things.
And she's like, take the pigs back inside.
And yeah, her dad comes out and he's like, all right, you're right. We're not staying here with their bags. And yeah, she's trying to look cool in front of Nathan. Yeah, she's like, no, we're staying. It's fine. We're gonna help out.
Yeah. And Nathan's just kind of smiling. He's laughing. He's like, oh, Jesus.
And then we meet Ozzy and Alex. And Ozzy's telling Alex a story about how one time he saw aliens. And he saw a saucer and it had lights and green eyes and everything. And Alex doesn't believe. He's like, dude, you're just making up stories. Like, this is not true. Tori's there. So JD comes over and introduces himself. And he's like, hey, you guys are with the painters. And Alex, turns out he's Nathan's little brother. And then Ozzy's their friend. And then Alex was like, well, he's like, I wish I could take your help, but liability issues. You can't help us.
So here's the issue I have, and here's the notes I have on Ozzy and the character that he is. So Ozzy, played by Mark Holton, has a developmental delay or is slow in some way, but the movie never explicitly states whether he was born that way or if there's another reason for his condition. The dialogue and the way other characters interact with Ozzy suggests that he has a lower intellectual capacity, but he's portrayed as a kind-hearted and well-meaning thought throughout the film. Ozzy himself expresses the desire to get an operation to make him smarter, a sentiment that Alex responds to sympathetically. The line indicates that Ozzy is aware of his condition and wishes he could change it, but the movie doesn't delve into the specifics of Ozzy. Ozzy is the way he is. Ultimately, Ozzy's character is used for comic relief and to add a layer of innocence to the story without detailed backstory regarding whether his condition is congenital or caused by other factors. So the issue I have with this is he's comedic relief and the innocence. This character rubs me the wrong way. Like he's kind of like of Mice and Men. He's like Lenny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But it's like a worse version of it. I don't know. I just don't like this character.
Okay.
It sucks.
I hear you.
I don't know how you feel about the character. I don't like it.
I liked him.
I don't like he's chubby. He's fucking all this, like, I don't know. They wrap this all in one, this character, and it just is like, I don't think you can have this character now, is what I'm saying.
No, you couldn't. I think they did a stereotypical character and they wrapped him into one. I liked his innocence. I like how caring he was with everyone else.
But why did he have to be developmentally delayed? That's kind of the... I don't
1993.
I don't know. It was just kind of dumb.
I have a note on this, but it's like the rep farther down into my notes.
I gotcha. Anyway, I just wanted to say that piece before we went any farther because I think that's kind of took me out of the movie too.
Okay. And then Alex moves on to make a joke and he's like, oh man, it's been a long day. Really wish I had a beer.
Yeah. And then, he's like, you do not drink. You're too young.
Yeah.
And he said something. He's like, I'll smack you or some shit.
Yeah. Tori walks downstairs into the basement, trying to be cute with a tray of tea, looking for Nathan. Mm-hmm. And an old harp falls on her and it scares her. And she was coming down here trying to make a peace offering. But her tea fell on the crate where the leprechaun is stored.
And this wakes him up, right?
Which he's hearing all of this. He's just sitting there, eyeballs going.
Well, he opened. He's like, huh?
Yeah. And Nathan was like, dude, there's just a bunch of weird stuff down here. O'Grady was a weird dude. He kept a lot of weird things hanging around.
Why didn't the leprechaun wake up when Jennifer and her dad were down there earlier?
Maybe they were being quieter than... dropping a tray of tea.
She screamed though. She's like, Dad, there's a spider.
Yeah. And they want to find out what's in the box because they're curious now.
Yeah.
And she grabs like a crowbar and they start pulling at it and can't get it open. And they hear Ozzy. He's screaming outside. So they run out to see what's wrong with him. And he's covered in blue paint. And there was an accident. He was up on a ladder painting, and then a bucket of paint fell on him.
Yeah.
He's freaking out about this, and Tori is like, well, she's like, there's a bathroom inside. You can go wash up. So he goes inside the house. He's cleaning up. He's drying himself up. And then he hears, again, I think this is where you were talking about the kids movie, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. First, It was Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yes.
Singing in a kid's voice. And he pauses and he's like, what the hell? And he follows the song and goes down into the basement. And he's yelling around. He's calling out to see where where the song is coming from.
He's investigating.
And then he hears the kid's voice and he's like, please let me out. And he's confused. And he's
like, how'd you get in there?
Yeah. And he pinpoints that it's coming from the crate box. And he starts dusting it off and brushing it off. And when he does this, the clover falls off. So protection is gone. And the leprechaun just busts the crate open.
Yeah, and Ozzy at this point falls back onto the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another line. He's like, hey, chubby. Like,
yeah.
I fucking hate that. I don't know.
No, you were
I
really
guess I'm a tubby kid. I'm a tubby kid too. So it irritates me when it's just unnecessary. Dumb. Yeah.
He's like, you have a light for my pipe? Fucking trying to smoke.
A light for a leprechaun?
Yeah, he's starving. He hasn't eaten in 10 years. And he's like, dude, what are you? And he's like, well, what do I look like? He's like, do you see the hat?
The buckles on my shoes?
He's like, I'm a shoemaker by trade. He's like, and your fucking dirty ass shoes, they look like they needed a little bit of shining. And he tries to clean him. And he's like, first, tell me where my fucking coins are, though.
Yeah, or I'm going to eat your ear off or whatever.
He's like, and I'm going to turn it into a shoe.
Yeah, I'm going to turn your ear into a shoe.
And Ozzy's like, screw this.
Yeah, he starts running upstairs. The door gets shut from the leprechaun with his powers. But then Ozzy just opens it. And he's like, oh, just because I don't have my gold, I don't have my powers. Mm-hmm. You're lucky.
Yeah, and he runs out. He's like, dude, you guys, there's like a leprechaun downstairs. It wants his gold. He has crazy fingers, rotten teeth. And he tried cleaning my shoes. And they're like, dude, here's another story from Ozzy.
Yeah, they're like, oh, God, here we go again.
And Nathan, this is where I get that he's like the big bro. He's like, I'll go down and investigate.
Yeah, because Ozzy's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, well, I'm going to go investigate this. And then Tori, Jennifer, she's like, oh, I'm going to go investigate too,
Just in case.
Just in case.
And then everybody decides to fucking go down there.
Yeah.
They make it down. They see the crate open. And immediately they think that Ozzy is the one who broke the crate
they're like,
open.
you idiot. Why did you do that?
He's like, no, not me.
It was the leprechaun.
Yeah. And while they're having a full-on discussion about whether it was or it wasn't a leprechaun, you can see like shots from around the room. Like the leprechaun is hiding downstairs in the basement and he's listening to them. And Ozzy's like, dude, it was real. So Nathan goes forward and starts poking around in the corners. And Alex follows him, his little brother. Mm-hmm. And Tori and Ozzy are staying back by the stairs. They're scared, you can tell. And all they find is a rat that comes running at them. Yeah,
they're like, Ozzy, it was just a freaking rat, dude.
Yeah, and so they go back upstairs because they didn't find a leprechaun. All they found was a rat. So they go outside, and as soon as they walk outside, a rainbow appears.
Yeah.
And
then Ozzy's like, oh my God, a rainbow. And he goes and runs after it. Alex is like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, and Nathan's like, dude, you're crazy. And Alex is like, I'll go wrangle him back.
Yeah, he's like, rainbows have leprechauns and there's always gold at the end. So they go, and coincidentally, the rainbow ends at an old pickup truck.
It ends. And then, because Alex is still like, dude, this is bullshit. You can never catch the end of the rainbow. All of a sudden, he's like, look, the end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And then they go run down there, and Ozzy looks back there, and he finds a coin.
Yeah, it's the special effects here are kind of funny because
they just typical make it go early 90s. You get that, like, the electricity.
Yeah, so he finds it, and then Alex is trying to take it from him, and Ozzy doesn't want to give it up. And all of a sudden, like, they see another, like, glistening the coin supposedly, and Alex finds the bag.
So again, the coins they appear there. So somehow they magically disappeared, but they have nothing to do with the leprechaun because the leprechaun lost it, but then they magically appeared. So I'm a little confused with that.
They magically appeared?
Yeah, why? Why was that?
Maybe because they released the leprechaun.
I don't know. It had something to do with the rainbow, but at the same time, the gold would always be there because Dan O'Grady.
Well, Dan O'Grady hid them.
I know, but why would they disappear? Because wouldn't Dan O'Grady at some point want to use them, but they just magically disappear? I guess that's what lost me. I don't know.
They were hidden by O'Grady, and then I think...
But they magically disappeared.
I don't know that they magically disappeared.
Because it made a noise. It was like, brrrring, and it popped back up.
I think the brrrring was because
there was one coin back there that magically appeared for Ozzy. And then all of a sudden it did that magic thing. And where that one coin was, that bag was there.
Do you think maybe like the leprechaun was doing something from the house?
No.
For them to make appear so he could find them?
No, I don't. Because why wouldn't he have just found it himself? Because he can teleport and shit.
But his powers are weak right now.
I don't know. This isn't tracking for me. I know you're trying to justify it, but there's a lot of holes for me. Again, listeners, if you have a better explanation, or Angelus, you can explore it further. I'm having a hard time believing it.
Anyways, they find the bag of the coins.
This is like It Follows.
They find the bag of coins, and then Ozzy's like, oh my God, this must be what the leprechaun was talking about. And Alex is like, dude, another fucking story. Like, that's not what it's about. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to check to see if it's real. He's like, and you know how to check? I've seen people on TV. They bite into them. So he starts chewing at it and he fucking swallows it.
He was biting it and all of a sudden he swallowed.
And Alex says, he's like, we're going to check if it's real. You swallowed coins before? Tell us this story, Richard.
You never swallowed coins?
No.
Oh, me neither.
Did you poop it out?
No.
Is it still in you?
Yeah.
Do we need a metal detector?
Dude, have you ever watched that? My Strange Addiction?
Toys.
Yeah, I remember that.
Have you ever seen that My Strange Addiction where the lady was eating coins and then you could hear it just sloshing in her stomach?
I saw the one about the guy who drank pee.
I watched that one too. Crazy. Anyways, continue. Sorry, we gotta close the tabs. We gotta stick to it. Be structured. Don't be awkward.
Be funny.
And funny.
We're gonna be like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Inside baseball, guys. Inside baseball.
Which maybe we shouldn't do as much.
So Alex is like, we're going to take one coin. We're going to take it to town. We're going to have someone look at it and see if it's real or not. And in the meantime, we're going to hide the rest of the coins in the old well by the house. And Ozzy's like, dude, all I'm going to do with this money, I want to buy comics every freaking week. And this is where Alex made a comment that he wants to use the coins to get an operation for Ozzy to make him smart. So I found my notes. So I have the
and they're like, so nobody else makes fun of you. And he's like, people make fun of me? Like, dude, you know that.
So Trimark, the company, they wanted to cut out this scene because they thought that it was disrespectful to people with mental disabilities.
I agree.
But the director felt that it was innocent and that it just showed the love of two friends.
I can see both sides, but I'm sticking with the producers. It was unnecessary and kind of stupid.
So back at the house,
and it is offending. Like
I know they're painting people in one way,
stereotyping that. Like I don't know. That just makes me irritated.
I hear you.
I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate. I don't know why. I'm just passionate about it.
At the house, Nathan, this scene I thought it was interesting. Nathan is showing Tori how to paint. And then he's like, oh my God, we're out of paint. But there's like 2 streaks of paint on the wall. I was like, where the fuck did the paint
and they're
go?
covered in paint.
They are. They're stuck at this job. And Nathan's like, oh, like he goes inside the house to grab something.
Well, she does 2 strokes. And he's like, oh my God, you're a natural. I'm going to be out of a job. You're painting a fucking door, like a window frame, dude.
My cousins know how to.
But she wasn't doing anything great. And then she's like, well, watch me. I can pour it really well, too. I'm like, he's like, okay, well, hold on a second.
Yeah, so she goes to the truck and gets another bucket of paint. And while she's down there, the leprechaun's under the truck. And he was like...
This is a weird scene to me, too.
Oozing, and he's like touching her leg, and she's like, oh my God, Nathan.
Why would Nathan be down there?
That was like quick, like Nathan running and hiding under the truck.
Was Nathan crouching down, just like caressing her legs?
That would have been so creepy.
Like, you guys, there's not a video of me, guys, but like, this is how he's just like, what's up?
Pulling a suave move.
Yeah.
And she's like, Nathan, what are you doing? And it's just a leprechaun rubbing his grimy little fingers up and down her leg.
And he's making weird, perverted sounds. But then he ends up scratching her, and she's like, oh, shit,
Before
Nathan.
that, she turns around and sees Nathan is actually behind her.
Yeah.
And that's when she freaks out. She's like, who the hell's touching my leg then? And she falls back and has this large, like, cuts on her leg.
Yeah, and Nathan's like, holy shit.
Yeah. And she says
and her dad comes running out, right?
And she said that it felt like a man was rubbing her leg. She's like, I thought it was you. And this was fucking funny because they're like concerned about her being cut. And she's like, I thought it was a man. I thought it was you. And Nathan's like, you would have let me touch your leg.
Oh my God.
And then they're like, maybe it was like, I don't know what else the dad pitches as an idea. It was something, a cow or something. And then she's like, I know what a man feels like. And the dad was like, you too? My innocent little girl?
Yeah. And so it's weird. And he's like, well, it's probably just a What, like a cat or something?
They hear a meow, and so they're like, "Oh, maybe it was a cat."
And
But
yeah, they run to the tree to go see the cat, and this little hole thing, you see the leprechaun, right?
mm-hmm.
And this is the stunt double at the time, you were
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah,
So the dad goes in to try to retrieve the cat out of the hole. He sticks his hand in, natural trope, horror trope, you stick a hand into somewhere you can't see. He's digging around. All of a sudden, he gets bit.
big time.
Yeah, and then he pulls it out, and this is what kind of they went for the gore, because his hand, it actually did look pretty cool,
Mm-hmm.
like the bite. He's like, holy shit, that thing got me. And they're like, oh crap, we gotta rush you to the hospital.
Which,
Man.
if a cat did that to her, why would you reach in, just like not looking or anything?
Right? That's a
Yeah.
angry cat.
Well, they're thinking, oh, it's just an innocent cat. I mean, it's gonna be a scratch, whatever, but this thing the leprechaun took a bite out of him.
Yeah, and they get into the company, the Nathan's truck, a company truck. It's called Three Guys That Paint.
Yeah.
They jump in, the truck won't start. And then magically Alex knows how to fix it. So he
Yeah,
goes
it's
under
the
the
distributor
hood
cap. Yeah.
and just like pushes and pulls on things, and then it starts. And they all get in the truck, and the leprechaun follows them in a tricycle.
See, again, dumb. And then for the effect for that he's going fast, they just fast forward
Yeah,
the image.
it's fucking funny.
And his little feet are moving as fast as he can. Like, I'm like, oh my God, how's he going to keep up with a truck?
Hey, I can relate to him. I have little legs. You make fun of me all the time for not walking fast.
Yeah, I know.
I was like,
We're
this is probably
we're always
how I
pacing you.
look.
I've had to I've slowed my walk down now. Like, it's second nature now, but sometimes I walk a little ahead, I see myself pacing you, then I stop and wait.
I know, you keep checking me. You're like, are you doing good? I'm like, yes. I just can only reach so much.
Your little feet are shuffling.
I'll be like 50 feet ahead of you guys.
I know. I'm like, Jesus, how do we even get anywhere?
Fuck you. Piggyback ride, babe. Come on. Give me a little.
Feet
I
shuffling.
need a what is it called? Not a bike, a scooter.
Oh my God, we seen those at the fair.
Just follow you around.
Oh my
Get a
gosh.
scooter. They get to the hospital. By the time from when they leave to the time they get to the hospital, it looks like it's dark and it's nighttime.
Hey, this isn't the first vehicle he's going to drive either in this. There's
I
3
know.
vehicles, which we'll cover. Dumb.
And then
Took me out of it. Another
Ale-
kid. That's another part of it being a kid's movie.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Alex and Ozzy, they're like, dude, we gotta take advantage and go take this coin and see if it's real. And they make a plan before they leave. They're supposed to go to this restaurant at the hospital, and they're all supposed to wait there for Tori's dad. But Alex and Ozzy, they take off. And the leprechaun's outside listening to their plan. They take it to this appraiser dude, and he's like, oh, I've never seen anything like this before. He's like, if it's gold, it'll be worth like 500, but if it's rare, then it's gonna be priceless. And he's like, can I keep it overnight? Like, I'll do some more research and I let you guys know. And they're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then Ozzy's like, hey, if this was a leprechaun coin, could you recognize it? The guy's like, what? They're
He's
like, never mind.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
He did a Lucas. Oh, gotta go.
He did. And so they leave and they're like, all right, we're going to go back to the hospital. We'll come back tomorrow and check on the coin. And the guy stayed behind with the coin. He's going through like a book of like pictures of different coins to see if it matches.
And he's like, do you mind if I keep this for the night? They're like, sure.
And he hears a bicycle, like a bike
Well,
bell.
so they leave and he goes to walk it to the safe. And then he hears the bike ring. Ring, ring.
Yeah, and he goes to check and he doesn't see anything.
Yeah,
There's no one inside the store.
So he goes back to the safe. He starts doing the code, and all of a sudden that tricycle comes rolling up.
And hits him. Yeah, he looks up.
Hey, he's like, what the hell? And then, so he turns back, opens up the safe, right?
Mhm.
And then out comes the leprechaun who was in the safe.
Yeah.
He's like, I've come for my gold. Bad pawn shop.
That shop owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, it's not good to take things from leprechauns.
Yeah.
And he's like, and now we play. He brings out the fucking pogo stick.
Well, yeah, he gets him on the ground. How does he get him on the ground? And how come this guy couldn't fight this little dude off?
I don't know, but there's another one. He starts doing this old leprechaun. He played one.
So he goes and grabs the pogo stick. So they do the old Austin Powers like trope where he has the pogo stick. He's bouncing all the way to him. The guy could roll away, not be bounced on, and he does it. He's just screaming for 5 seconds. It's like, as he's rolling to him.
And he jumps on him several times, kills him.
Yeah, on his chest. And yeah.
He's like, oh, you have dirty shoes. And he kills him before he leaves. So this scene right here in particular, it was played in slow motion. So again, they used a stunt. And he was only able to get 2 jumps, doing to it being difficult to use the pogo stick. So they grabbed those 2 jumps and they just played them on repeat, and they do slow motion for the entire scene.
Oh my God. I mean, cool imagination, but a little cheesy.
So yeah, the leprechaun's like, I have 1 coin, 99 more to go. And he sees a car inside the shop. And he gets an idea.
A tiny toy car.
And then we go back.
One of those cars, did you ever have one growing up? You probably didn't. I know I didn't. I was jealous. My cousins had it. Like the truck that was battery operated. Mm-hmm. I never had one. I was always jealous. But that's pretty much what this is. And then it got souped up somehow.
You know who has one?
My cousins have 2.
They have 2. One of them that they have has a control remote, and I think Orlando has more fun than the kids because he'll just strap Lucas in there and he'll drive it like a remote car, but he's just pushing
Lucas
his kid
has
around.
Like a little black truck, and then the girls have like a little pink one or a red one or something.
So
how does Lucas like it?
He just pretends he's riding. He can't do anything because Orlando's fucking maneuvering him around.
That's funny.
He looks funny. I was like, is this for you or the kids, Orlando? He's like, both.
Both.
I was like, okay.
That's hilarious.
So back at the hospital in the restaurant, Tori's concerned because Alex and Ozzy are missing. Like they were all supposed to meet.
And they're having a little banter though.
Yeah.
Over meatloaf. Wow, on the radio, what's playing?
I don't know.
My Lucky Charm. The 69 Cats.
Again?
Yes.
I missed that.
Yeah.
I was focused on that she's a vegetarian. She will not eat things.
Yeah, so they're having banter, and he's like, "Oh, really?" And then he rips off her shoe, and he's like, "This is made from cowhide." And she's like, "Stop! Give me my shoe back."
And then we see the leprechaun driving the little car. He's going super fast, and then he drives past the cop.
Yeah.
And sees him speed, and so he follows him and he pulls him over.
Right.
And the cop's kind of being a little ass, and he's like, aren't we a little young to be out this late? And he's like, how about you take off the mask? You're being ridiculous. Which is like, why would
he's like, he's acting like he's a kid. Clearly this thing's ugly and fucking not human.
Why would a little kid be driving around with a mask this late at night?
Going that fast, all souped up and shit.
Yeah. I don't know that the car could naturally go that fast.
And why are the toys still left in the back?
Because he's fucking cool as fuck. He has like a teddy bear and something else.
Stupid.
And he's like, dude, it's not nice to make fun of leprechauns. And he's like, hey, I'm 650 years old. And he scratches the fucking cop's face.
Yeah, and then he grabs a hold of him, and then he's like, ooh, he sees the gun. You think he's going to use the gun, but no, he just grabs the gun and throws it.
Yeah, and he just like...
Yeah, and then the cop starts running, taking off, right?
Mm-hmm,
he's like, get away from me, go, you creep.
Yeah, and he follows him, and he's like, we're going to play hide and seek. And
and then, oh my God, this is the start of that stupid stuff. So the cop's running. He finally stops. He's like, oh, thank God. Like he has a rest. He's a little like, he's happy he got away. But all of a sudden he gets up, looks out, and then the leprechaun is like dancing. He's like, hi. He's doing that kid thing where you put your thumb on your nose and like wiggle your fingers. Like, hi. Like, that's me, haha, and kind of going back and forth in between the trees. And it's like, oh my God, that's more of the kid movie that it's doing that.
It was just a mix of the two. Maybe the sequels are better.
Better?
Maybe.
Dude, he goes out in space. I don't think it's...
I kind of want to watch the second one.
And Leprechaun in the Hood is not...
Well, this one it started off as one thing, and then it turned into something else. Maybe the other ones, they were like, okay, it's just horror.
So, I don't know. I don't know if they get better.
Okay.
I was having a hard time remembering this one, I guess. I totally had it wrong.
So, the leprechaun disappears. The cop's sitting by a tree. He thinks it's done, and he ran away. And then all of a sudden, the leprechaun falls from the top of the tree that he's on and falls on his shoulders, and then just breaks his neck, and he's done. The cop. Back at the restaurant, yeah, they're having Tori and Nathan. They're having their banter, and then finally Alex and Ozzy arrived.
Yeah,
and they're like, "What the hell, you guys? Where were you?" And Ozzy almost lips up, and Alex was like, "Oh, we were just doing some stuff." So while they're there, the leprechaun made it back to the house, and he's looking through every like cupboard and storage area around the house.
Yeah, just destroying it, ransacking the house.
For his gold. And he finds a cereal called Lucky Clovers. And apparently this was supposed to be originally Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
And he gets excited, and it tastes bad, and so he spits it out. And I guess like that's where the drama came with Lucky Charms, because they were offended that the leprechaun didn't like their cereal.
Well, and sponsorship, but also it got weird. It was supposed to be a kids movie, and they screwed it up.
I think it would have been funny if the leprechauns spit out their cereal, and they're like, ha ha. But anyways, so he finds a mirror, and he sims himself, and it scares him to see what he looks like. And then this is the part where I was like, oh my god, this dude has really bad like ADHD. He collects all the shoes in the house.
Yeah, starts cleaning them and polishing
all of them.
Yeah, he's like Quentin Tarantino. He has a hardcore foot fetish. It's weird, dude.
And then Nathan and everyone else gets back to the house, and they walk in and they find the house just trashed and all of the shoes on the table, and they're like, what in the F? And Tori's like, dude, this is crazy. And they're like, maybe it was a bear. And they're like, really? A bear came down here and like destroyed it and put all the shoes? I don't know. And Ozzy again, he's like, maybe it was a leprechaun. And he's like, he did try shining my shoes like when he met him at the basement. And Tori's like, whatever. She's like, I'm done. It's been a long day. Her dad's in the hospital. It was her first day in town. And she walks outside and then immediately turns around and she's like, it's dark outside.
Yeah.
So they all come together. They end up cleaning the house and get over it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. He's like, you're familiar with this, right? And it's a broom.
Oh my god.
Well, stupid. I think that plays more to her being high society than
than being a girl.
Yeah.
They hear a bicycle bell, and Nathan and Tori, they go to see where the noise is coming from, and it's Ozzy. He found a bell and he's playing with it. And then Ozzy asks Alex, he's like, could you kill a leprechaun? And Alex is trying to be all brave and talking shit. And he's like, dude, give me a gun, blah, 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 blah.
He's like, do you think you're going to could you kill a leprechaun? He's like, yeah, anything can be killed. He's like, me? Give me a Colt 45. I'm going to shoot him right between the temple.
And ba-boom. And then they hear the bell again, and then Tori comes around and she's like, guys, knock it off. And this time the bell, no one is playing with it. It's just sitting like on an end table.
Is this a part, or is it in the end when he's on a skateboard?
I think we're coming up to it. And then Nathan says that the noise is coming from the kitchen.
That was a hardcore eye roll from me, by the way.
So they follow Nathan into the kitchen because they're all scared. They're hearing noises. And they go check it out. And he doesn't see anything in the kitchen. So Nathan walks outside with a flashlight. And there's a bear trap. And he falls on it. And he's stuck there. And then this is where Nathan meets the leprechaun for the first time.
Still, he's not doesn't know what it is.
The leprechaun, I noticed, is wearing, what is it called? Well, the thing that the doctor checks your heartbeat with? No? You don't use those?
A stethoscope?
Yes, that. You're looking at me like, what the hell?
He was wearing that?
He was wearing that like a doctor set.
Was he?
A kid doctor set. Yeah,
I'll have to rewatch that.
Neck.
Actually, I'm never going to rewatch it. But fascinating. I didn't notice that.
And he keeps going for Nathan's leg, trying to bite it. And Nathan keeps smacking him with a flashlight, trying to get it away from him. And at this point, everybody comes out because they hear the commotion going on. And the leprechaun, he just keeps trying to fucking bite him. And so Ozzy runs inside. They're like, dude, go call the cops. So he does. But he's being very honest and very naive. And he's like, all right, the attack is on. The leprechaun is attacking.
Right.
sent everyone, and he's like, the army, the marine.
Yeah.
And they're like, no.
No, they're like, oh my God. And then he goes to the cop station and he's like, yeah, it was Ozzy. He's like, oh, he's a good kid. He's like, yeah, but he sounds a leprechaun. He's like, he's a creative kid.
Yeah, last week he called with another story, so they don't believe him.
Yeah.
They throw his call out the window.
But did we cover that? Sorry, Nathan, when he shoots the leprechaun, it temporarily puts him out.
We're coming up to it because everybody's outside trying to.
It does show green blood only in that scene right there because he's shot multiple times in this movie, but the green blood was only right there.
I think this is at the end when we see him have green blood.
No, well, in the well, but the first time he's shot with the shotgun, it shows a splatter pack on his chest. It's green,
okay.
like a predator for fluorescent green.
Mm-hmm.
And he's shot and he rolls back into the bush, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then Nathan just unloads.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when Ozzy comes out.
Yeah, and then Tori opens up the bear trap. They release Nathan. And yeah, he keeps shooting at the bushes. And he's like, dude, Tori, she's like, that wasn't a bear.
But she's like, I don't know what I saw. It wasn't a leprechaun. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and she's like, we gotta call like an ambulance. And Ozzy's like, oh, I called the cops and I told them it was a leprechaun. And they're like, dude, you fucked it.
He's like, yeah, because that's what it is.
And Tori remembers that she has a cell phone and she pulls out this ginormous box and she tries calling, but her phone is dead. And Tori asks Alex and Ozzy to go get like medical supplies so she can help Nathan.
Right.
And he's like, dude, there's no way it's alive. He's like, I shot it like 6 times, so I got it. It's good. So they walk outside to try to go get in the truck and take Nathan into town.
Right.
And when they do, again, it won't start. And everybody's crowded inside this truck.
Yeah, and Alex is like, oh my God, I don't want to go out there.
So he runs out, opens the hood of the truck, and the leprechaun is there. He has like wires in his teeth.
Yeah, he's like, and then Alex is like, oh my God, let me in.
Yeah, so he goes inside the truck, and the leprechaun just terrorizes the shit out of them, breaks the windows. He's jumping, he's all over the truck, just trying to get them to come out, and they will not. And then he breaks through one of the windows, and then Tori puts the lighter that's in the truck. What do you call it?
Yeah.
She puts it in his eye or in his face, and it burns him.
Which, okay, in this scene, if they would have changed the scene up a little bit, the script, I would have had the leprechaun, because he breaks the windshield, right? Mm-hmm. I would have had him grab Alex and take him away.
Oh.
In the movie to add a little bit more drama and suspense to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have him drag away. Our antagonists are the 3, right? Nathan, Tori, and Ozzy, and Alex. But having those 3, now they have something too, where now we gotta figure out why the hell this leprechaun's here and how to solve that problem, but also finding their friend and brother. Friend. I think that would have added more depth to the story, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then before she burns the leprechaun, he attacks Ozzy and bites his ear a little bit. But once they burn him with the lighter, he runs away. And Ozzy's freaking out because he bit his ear.
He's like, my ear, it's gone.
And you hear like welding noises coming from the shop.
Yeah, he's like zing, zing, zing. And they're in the car and he can't get in there. And all of a sudden he comes bursting out and it's a car, like his small car, but now it's all hot rotted and it has a battling ram on the front. And then so you hear it and it sounds like this huge fucking hot rod. It's like, and then he full charge hits this huge truck and rolls it over.
And then he's singing Ring Around the Rosie.
Oh my God.
They all fall down.
Again, this took me completely out of this movie. I was like, this is stupid. I know it was meant for fun, but I did not enjoy this.
Yeah, he goes over to check on them and he's like, I fucking got them. And he opens the door and they're all gone.
Yeah.
They're hiding in the bushes and he's like, what the hell? He's like, I just want my gold back. And they make a run for the house and he follows them. And right as he gets to the door, like they shut the door on him and that's
his hand
impressive.
gets, yeah,
completely cut off.
severed. Again, this would have been cool if they played it because they've already kind of mocked the Evil Dead 2 with the hand where Ash loses his hand and it's possessed or whatever. They could have did the same thing. Not quite the exact same, but the hand could have went and did something devious.
Oh, yeah.
Instead, they kind of lost it where it just opened the door and then all of a sudden the leprechaun put it back on. Like, I was like, ugh, it could have been better right there. It could have done something mischievous in there. Like, it could have grabbed like Tori's head or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have been cool.
Yeah. They blocked the door from the inside with furniture. And again, Tori's trying to get her phone to call. And she's got through to the police and she's saying that something terrible happened and she's just asking for help. And she's in the middle of her call and the call drops again because her battery died. But it's on the other end, the cops, it sounds like they did hear her and they are going to send someone through. So the sheriff, he radios another patrol.
And he's dead.
And to get to the Grady farm immediately. And then we hear it sounds like the police's voice and he's responding. He's like, I got it. I'm going to go. I'll let you know if I need a backpack. And it's the leprechaun all along pretending to be the cop that he just killed out in the woods.
Mischievous little bastard.
Yeah. So at the house, they patched up Nathan. They give him a Band-Aid with Hello Kitty on it. I'm just
really?
kidding. No.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, and Ozzy's like, man, that leprechaun is mean. And Tori, I don't know why the hell she's like, I don't think it's a leprechaun. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, bitch,
she's like a flat earther. Like, she's one of those people, you know what I mean? You can't convince them, like, there's science behind it, or physically you've seen it, but...
She's like, no, it's not. She's like, I just don't know what it is. And then Ozzy spills and he's like, well, maybe he wants the gold that we found in the truck. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's like, all right. He's like, we were holding on to it. And Alex, he's like, we were holding on to this money we found to help Ozzy.
Yeah.
And now it's being hidden in the well. And Tori makes a move and she's like, all right, I'm going to go get these coins out. I'm going to give them to the little psycho. And
give him what he wants. Give him what he wants. Yeah.
So she takes the gun, she goes outside, she pulls him up, and as soon as she grabs him from the bucket, the leprechaun is there. And he's like, is that me gold? And she's like, what are you? And again, he's like, dude, bitch, like, are you blind? I'm a leprechaun.
Yeah.
And as soon as he grabs the bag, like, his powers start returning.
And he scurries off.
And this is where he's shaking his little bag. And he's like, oh, it sounds like me gold. It looks like me gold.
Yeah.
Smells like it and tastes like it. And he kisses her leg and takes off. No, he sits down to count the coins.
Yeah.
She goes inside. They're going to take Nathan to the hospital. She's like, he has his coins. He's going to leave us alone now, right?
Right.
Leprechaun counts up to 99 coins. And
he's like, one's missing.
He's fucking pissed. He thinks that they tricked him and that they purposely kept one of the coins.
Right. So he goes down. He's coming back. And they're trying to leave, right?
Yeah. And Alex goes to grab some ice from the fridge.
And there's a leprechaun.
There's a leprechaun.
He comes out. Again, he has a knack for popping out. First it was the safe and the suitcase. And now it's the fridge.
Mm-hmm. And then
it's a little played out, if you ask me.
He gets thrown and his hand lands on the burner of the stove and he holds it there for a little too long. And then he pulls it off like nothing.
Yeah, it like peels it off the burner.
And then he starts doing another game of hide and seek where he hides in the cabinets. And then Nathan's trying to shoot it and Tori's opening them. And every time they open a new cabinet, he's there.
He's gone. He's powerful. Yeah.
And he's
like, and he's doing that stupid thing, kind of like the tree with the cop.
Yeah.
He's doing it now in the cupboard. So he's playful. Again, how do you feel about these? Did you like that? Were you entertained by those?
They were taking too long.
Yeah, they're a little, just went too long. I get a couple times, have fun, but...
Every time.
This is a bit excessive because now in the same scene, this is the skateboard scene, right? Later.
He runs to the living room and they follow him to try to keep shooting him.
Yeah.
And he comes down the chimney and he's like, it's not Santa. And they're still trying to shoot him.
And the bell, doesn't the bell happen, or is that...
And they think he's dead. And then he gets up and runs away.
Yeah.
And they're still looking for him in the house. And they keep hearing a noise coming around. And this is the skateboard scene.
And the house isn't that big, but they make it look like it's a freaking mansion.
Yeah, and this is the skateboard scene where
he's going back and forth. They're in a hallway, and he's at the end of the hallway going back and forth mocking them. But he's like doing skateboard tricks where he's laying on it, like posing. Yeah, he's posing, kind of going back and forth. And they're like, what the heck?
He's a show off.
Right, and he's trying to shoot him. And it's not working.
So the leprechaun's just fucking with them, but it just felt too long.
Too long, but you did it too many times. I mean, throughout the movie, you did it at least 4 times. This is kind of annoying.
Yeah. And
this is worse than I Know What You Did Last Summer screaming. Jennifer Love Hewitt screaming.
And then they all hear his screaming in the basement. They hear his little feet running around. And they hear a, like, crash, and they think it came from outside. So Nathan has like his face on the floor trying to hear, and then it breaks through the floor, and then it rolls around and it hides again. And then the phone rings. Tori picks it up, and it's him calling him and asking for his fucking gold.
And they drop it. She drops it, and then it rings again. She picks it up. They steal this directly from Nightmare on Elm Street, part 1, where he has the tongue. He's like, la, la, la. But they use his hand, a little like chicken hand.
Yeah. And she's like, can somebody just give him what he wants? Because at this point...
Give him his gold. Give him his gold.
Well, she doesn't know. She thought that they give him all the gold.
Yeah.
And Ozzy, that's where he's like, oh, I think I know what. He's like, I ate one of the coins. He's like, I'll go. And they're like, no, like, you're not going to give yourself up. There's got to be another
better
way.
Solution, yeah.
And this is where Ozzy, he remembers. Apparently, he knew O'Grady before he went to that retirement home.
Yeah.
And he's like, he had all kinds of stories about all kinds of things. So he must know, he must have something that he must know how to stop it.
Right.
He's like, maybe he's the one that kept it down there in the basement. He had a stroke 10 years ago, exactly where we last picked off.
Right.
And it's in like a home in town. So they're like, okay, we're going to go to the home. So they go outside and they're going to go check it out. Tori's going to go by herself. So they all help her. She goes towards the Jeep that her dad was driving. And the leprechaun pops up. And before this, so Nathan's like, oh, I have a plan. Yeah. And I saw him, but I didn't know what the hell was doing. I thought she was carrying things to take into town.
Yeah, it was shoes.
It's a box full of shoes.
So to get her out of there, they're just tossing shoes. And then the leprechaun is like a dog and wants to play fetch. And he goes and grabs the shoes and he like starts wiping them down, each one.
Ooh, ooh,
and then he watches her leave, knows he has to go, but he keeps going for the shoes.
I was like, fuck, priorities.
But this doesn't matter because once they run back inside, she's rolling, and then all of a sudden his powers, he reappears and he's tailing the Jeep in roller skates. It gets super cartoonish. Again, this is the children's movie because he's riding it, and then all of a sudden he lets go of the Jeep, and I shit you not, guys, if you don't remember this in the movie, if you've never seen it, he goes through a fence and he does the cartoon like it shows his body print through the fence.
So this was actually Warwick using the rollerblades. He does rollerblade in real life.
Oh,
so that was
God.
him using his rollerblades in the scene.
He did his own stunt.
Yeah, but
through the fence, though, how do you feel about it? Because I'm like, oh my God.
It was cartoonish.
And he comes out and he wipes his...
So he starts rollerblading, and then they do the fast forward motion where you just see his little legs go again.
I mean, it's funny, but at the same time, not. I'm like, dude, what is this? This movie is one off the rails, man. So
Tori arrives at the Chillview Center, and this scene right here, I was like, what in the fucking world? This would have never happened today. She walks on there inside, no issues. The security's asleep. There's a very convenient clipboard that has all the names of all the patients with the room numbers. So she's flipping through it and she immediately finds O'Grady's name and room, and he does not wake up at all.
Yeah. Which all the commotion that later is going to happen here, he still doesn't hear anything.
Sleeping. He had a long night.
Yeah. And then so she goes to the room, and looks like Dan O'Grady. He's facing the window, and she's like, "Hey, how do you kill a leprechaun?" Doesn't even say hello. Introduce herself. But how do you kill a leprechaun? And then he's like, "Oh, I'll never tell you."
He says, "There's only one way." Yeah, but I will never tell you.
And turns around, and it's the leprechaun in a flannel and a wig, in a wheelchair.
And Tori, takes off running.
And then, so in this part, she takes off running, and then she ends up running like through the building. He's in the wheelchair, rolling, chasing her, and she's trying to open doors, can't open it. She ends up getting to the elevator, and as he's still in his wheelchair, this doesn't change. I mentioned the wheelchair because he uses his wheelchair multiple scenes.
So for this scene, when he's chasing her, Aniston actually had to run in slow motion so that he could keep up with her because he was having a hard time manipulating the wheels.
Yeah.
So
go wonder. Go figure. So, yeah, she gets into the
elevator.
And then all of a sudden up top, she's standing there. She gets freaked out because then Dan O'Grady falls out.
He's all bloody.
He's like, "Oh, I knew he had come back for me."
He's like, "No one would believe me though." And she's like, "Oh, we need to get you down." And he's like, "No,
there's no hope for me."
Yeah, it's done. And he's like, "But you have to kill it." And she's like, "All right, tell me where I need."
He's like, "You have to believe a 4-leaf clover
from the patch. Put
next
it on
to
his
the well
body, and it has to touch him, and then he will die."
Yeah.
And so she's like, "Cool, I got the magic answer." So she drives back to the house.
And this is where the leprechaun is still in the wheelchair and is driving the wheelchair all the way down super fast.
Comedic relief. If he wanted to, he could have transported from the center back to
that's
the
what
house.
I'm saying.
Yes. So she arrives back close to the property and she stops at a perfectly green grassy patch.
It's well lit. Like there's a green light on this patch.
I think I read somewhere that they did use a green light for this patch.
It's stupid.
And so she's looking through and she's really fucking frustrated. She can't find a 4-leaf clover.
Doing the Jennifer Aniston spiel, her whole thing. Like, "Oh my God, you guys. Like and then, distress. You know what I'm talking about.
And the leprechaun grabs her hand and he's like, "The little girl shouldn't look for 4-leaf clovers."
Which, okay. In this situation, why would he even be close to that clover patch? Because he doesn't know if there's a 4-leaf. If he ends up touching it, he dies. Yeah, so why would he even be close?
So she gets up to run, and he follows her.
Sorry, guys.
We're fucking pumped, man.
I'm putting holes in this movie. I don't hate this movie. It's very frustrating. I did not enjoy it.
Thank you, Richard, for making this our pick of the week. I just want you to have the credit of picking this
I own it, man. I own picking this turd.
It was like, if it had been us, you would have been.
Oh, I would have been pissed. I'm like, "You mother effers."
So if one of the future movies turns into a little turd, you're going to stick through it, okay?
Eraserhead.
No, and you're just going to be like, power through it, and you're going to be a sport about it.
I will, I promise. And Eraserhead isn't terrible.
She runs, sees the lights, and she runs in there. She's like, "Dude, like, thank God, like, there's a crazy little leprechaun following me." She gets inside the patrol car and then realizes that the guy is dead.
Yeah. And then the leprechaun's right outside. Mm-hmm. She takes the baton and shoves it into his eye. He's like, "Ah!" And then she slides to the back and is terrified. He ends up an eye for an eye and grabs the cop's eye, digs it out, and then plugs it into his own eye, right?
Yeah, that was fucking gnarly.
And then at this point, it was kind of cool. And then at this point, Nathan and Ozzy come down, and Nathan is through the window, shoots the leprechaun through there because the leprechaun ripped the door off.
Yeah.
And shot him, and then he's laying there. And then they're like, come on, Tori, we gotta go. And before he wakes up, right?
Mm-hmm. And she's like, "We gotta find a 4-leaf clover. That's the answer."
Yeah, so they run back to that patch.
Mm-hmm. She's feeling defeated. She's like, "Dude, we're never gonna find it."
And she makes a point to say, "Where's Alex?" And they're like, "Alex is back at the house."
Yeah.
So when they go back up to the patch, they show Alex now. He's in the garage. He's like, "I'm not afraid." And he's like, he's calling the leprechaun a lep. He's like, "I'm going to get this lep. I'm not afraid." And he's like, "I'm going to set up a trap." So he has that bear trap. He's setting it down. And then he has a slingshot. And then the leprechaun, you just see his feet dangling.
He's
Like he's just
"Oh."
watching him.
Yeah, like a little creep.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he attacks Alex, right?
Yeah, he does.
And tries to shove his head into the bear trap. Not quite kid friendly.
No. So, meanwhile, the other three are still outside. And then Oz is the one who has the motivational words. And he's like, dude, Tori, you gotta fucking believe, man. And then you gotta manifest it. And then, sure enough,
You gotta believe. And
She,
she's like, God damn it, Ozzy. I don't want to believe. I'm tired of your fantasies. Even though up until this point, you've just seen a leprechaun, gold. Wouldn't you believe anything at this point?
yeah, I would have.
And then he's like, wow, all you had to do was believe. And then it was in her hand and it just perfectly was like lighting up.
So the clover patch was planted on set, and it was lit with a green light to make it stand out. And the 4-leaf clover, the crew glued an extra leaf because they didn't actually have one.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Well,
found a
it's because
4-leaf clover?
it's an anomaly. Me, no, but I can't say I've ever looked for one.
I think I have.
Nice.
And I was like, magical moment. And then
You went
I
all
lost
Magic
it.
Mike on it?
Hells
Nah.
yeah. I was like, ooh, ooh, like those kids at the fair.
Waka, waka, waka.
Yeah, and she, of course, has it in her hand. They get excited. And then meanwhile, yeah, the leprechaun is attacking Alex inside in the shop, takes it on the floor. And then Ozzy runs in there just right on time. And he's like, hey, it's me. I fucking ate your coin.
Right.
And I'm not going to poop it out. So the leprechaun runs towards him and starts chasing him. He fucking takes off the buckle in his shoe and starts cutting Ozzy with it on his face over and over. And he's just like, dude, I want my fucking coin.
Yeah.
And Alex rubs, it looks like gum that he took out or something.
Yeah,
with the
he's like, hey, Lep.
with the 4-leaf clover
Yeah.
and sling it at him. And he's like,
It shoots it right in his mouth. He's like, "Whoa."
and he's like, fuck you, Lucky Charm.
Yeah, fuck you, Lucky Charms. And yeah, shot it in his mouth. He gets shot back. Leprechaun does to the well. He starts disintegrating, which actually looked kind of cool.
And he's melting, oozing like the green blood.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these like green lights coming from the well, and he falls inside. And they're like, oh, we did it. And then fucking he crawls up one more time. And again, just yelling that he wants his gold. So Nathan runs over, hits him with like the back of the gun
Yeah.
back inside the well, pours gas all over it, and then sets him on fire.
Which the leprechaun comes up. He's like, I'll never stop. At that point, why hit him with the stock of your gun? Why not just shoot his freaking head off?
Yeah.
Blow his head off. But he hits him down and then lights it on fire.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And then it shows that it's like morning time. There's
And a huge
police everywhere.
explosion.
There's the well is still on fire, and then you hear the leprechaun's voice saying he will not rest until he has his gold, and he will find a magic
Yeah.
that breaks the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yep. And that is the movie.
El fin.
Cool.
Cool.
Under 2 hours.
Ooh wee. Well, we're not done yet.
I know, but I mean, like, explaining it.
So we got to the end of the movie, not to rush it, but how I feel about it. How do you feel about it?
It was okay. Will I watch it again? Hell no.
It was okay. What would you rate it?
If I had to rate it anything, I think that I would rate it like a 1.5.
It's right there with Critters 3 for me, so it's definitely a 1.5.
Yeah. I mean, it had fun. It not necessarily fun, but it had funny parts.
Yeah.
The comedic, and I can now see it was maybe at one point guided for kids with the goofy, like, things that were happening.
Yeah. I'm changing it. I'm giving it a 1.
Oh.
This movie was terrible. I lost interest. It took me out of it. A lot of times I can find good in movies. This one was bad.
Okay.
This was terrible. Warwick Davis, he was cool.
He did awesome. He's a
I like
creepy leprechaun.
I like the actors in it. They didn't do terrible, but the writing was it was shoddy at best.
Was it too slow for you?
Yeah, well, not slow paced. Some scenes just went way entirely too long, and it was just, I don't know. They overplayed some of the tropes and just some of the stuff they did too many times. So it was a long hour and 31 minutes for me. So I give it a 1. But we do have multiple kills. What one's your favorite?
Oh, snaps.
Wait, before we answer that, Vienna, what do you rate this movie?
I didn't watch all of it because I fell asleep, and it was like constantly rewatching the same parts.
Yeah.
Like once or twice, I just saw the beginning.
Yeah. What you saw, what would you rate it?
1.5.
1.5?
1.5, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And then Angelus, what was your favorite kill?
My favorite kill.
Yeah. You've got Dan O'Grady, you got his wife, you've got the pogo, you got the cop.
That's it.
I think so. And the leprechaun, I guess. But
And who?
the leprechaun.
The leprechaun. Me want me gold. I don't know. The wife was lame. She just tripped.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't really see O'Grady. We just saw his bloody face.
Yeah.
I have to say the cop. It's pretty lame too.
Yeah. They're all kind of lame. I would have to go for the pogo.
Yeah, me too.
For ridiculousness.
Yeah. But
yeah,
leading
I guess
up,
the pogo
leading
was
up
the
to
more
a kill,
creative.
leading up to a kill, I'd say the cop, just because they really used that vehicle. And they're like, "You're a kid. Why are you out here so late?" As he's like speeding by.
Yeah.
So yours is the pogo too, Vienna?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
That's
yours
like
is
the only
pogo?
one I saw, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Richard, if you had to be a character from the movie, which character would you be?
Oh, dude, Nathan, all the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's up?
What's
Sigma.
up? Sigma. Vienna.
Probably the leprechaun, like, give me back my money if you need to pay me back. Interest,
Damn.
I'll come after you.
What about you, Angelus?
I like Alex.
You're Alex. You like the kid?
I like the kid.
Nice. Yeah.
Noise.
Total alpha. So,
And then you never acted
Whatever.
again.
what?
I said, and then you never acted again.
I
You got taken
know.
out by a bear trap.
Crazy.
Corey. What else you got, Richard?
Let's see. Looking through my notes.
Reviews?
Yeah, let's do that. Vienna, do you have reviews?
Yep.
Holla.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, let's hear them. Are they good?
They could.
Yeah.
So, what was this? Was this movie, from what you read, your opinion, from what you read, your research, was it well received?
It was mixed. There were like 1s, 2s, 1.5s, or there were like 4 or 5s. I didn't see many 3s.
Okay,
but-
so either love it or hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear some of them.
Okay. 1/2 star. The sheer joy I experienced when those credits started rolling. Unmatched.
Fucking A, dude.
I made it.
1 star. Sorry, Jennifer Aniston, but I'm pretty sure that's a hate crime. 1.5. I do not blame Jennifer Aniston for not wanting to live in a house that had an evil little green goblin and a tarantula living in the basement. 1 star. Charming here and there. Too lame and tedious to fully enjoy, though.
Yes.
Shit. 1 star. When I was a wee lad, my Irish granny told me tales of leprechauns and how back in Ireland she had to fight the little fuckers just to get to school. 3 stars and a heart. The leprechaun looks really good in this, and you got to have some taste and to enjoy this. It's another one of those good bad horror movies that is super entertaining despite its obvious flaws. It's an unironically enjoyable film.
Okay.
Would you agree with that, Richard?
No.
3 stars. Love it or hate it. I feel like this movie did exactly what it set out to do.
Which was?
I don't know. They didn't explain.
Yeah, it
It
did
just
not.
set out to do.
It didn't know what it wanted to do.
Someone just gave it a heart and said, Leprechaun attempts to walk a razor-thin line between goofy slasher and anti-Irish political cartoon from 1855.
Yeah.
It fails. I'm clicking the heart anyway. I had a blast. This is why... Oh, I don't know the last part.
Mm.
Okay, someone gave it 4 stars and a heart and said, I can't tell if this movie is an 8 or a 2.
Neither, it's 1.
Someone else gave it 5 stars and said, wealth doesn't kill leprechauns. Tori Redding kills leprechauns.
Oh my god.
5 stars and a heart. deliriously silly VHS monster slasher masterpiece. And then someone gave it 3 stars and a heart and said, Jennifer Aniston with pink sneakers and a shotgun is a very powerful combo.
Those LA gears, baby.
The leprechaun shaped hole in the fence after he crashes into it is still funny.
Oh my god.
Someone gave it 3.5 stars and said, I've never seen any Leprechaun films, so I figured today was a good day to see how many I can get through. First up was obviously the cult classic most widely known for being Jennifer Aniston's only horror film. It was actually more fun than I thought it would be. Not sure why I put it off for so long. I would say a small step above the best full moon features film. Someone gave it 5 stars and a heart and said, Warwick Davis is a fucking treasure, and the 5 stars are for him. And then someone gave it 2 stars and said, Happy St. Patrick's Day to Aniston's old nose.
My god, that's hilarious. That's brutal.
Someone gave it 1.5 stars and said, What a bizarre prequel to Friends.
Yep. Yup.
And then the last person gave it 2 stars and said, I'm never eating Lucky Charms for breakfast this way again. Happy St. Patrick's Day, I guess.
Oh my god. Okay, so mixed.
I dropped my gum.
So it didn't really change with her reviews. They're pretty much spot on. IMDb got it 4.8 out of 10. Metacritic was 17 out of 100. User score was 4.3 out of 10. Letterboxd got 2.5 out of 5, which I think is a little generous. But Google users, so rating got 71% like the movie. Google users are generally more favorable, with significant portion enjoying the film for its humor and cult classic status. This is likely due to the nostalgic appeal and entertainment value for fans of horror comedy. Cinema score, there's none available. They didn't really track it then. So overall, Leprechaun has mixed to negative scores from critics, but has a decent following among audiences who appreciate its campy B-movie charm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Do we have anything else before you start wrapping this up?
What are we watching next week?
Brianna's pick.
American Psycho?
Ooh-wee-ooh-wee-oh.
I really like that movie.
I mean, at least we're going to rebound with a decent one.
Yeah. Despite some of the, people that latched onto it were, just being very weird, trying to live his lifestyle.
Who's?
Patrick Bateman.
Yeah, Patrick Bateman.
So
Sick, morbid people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American Psycho, so I enjoy that one. It'll be nice. It'll be a good palate cleanser for this piece of shit.
Oh my god.
I like that one.
But no, yeah. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Guys, I'll have a mini episode coming out middle of the week, I think Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. I think it's good. It'll be under 30 minutes. So it's a quick one for you casual listeners. So, yeah. Anything else?
That's it. That's it, senor.
All right. Hasta lugosi.
Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.
CC. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.